Welcome to another video, ladies and gentlemen, and this one a very, very special video. We got ourselves another look at season 4, and before I go any further, I'm gonna leave a nice overlay here of the tweet by John Hurwitz himself. It says, dying for you all to see season 4 on December 31st, but for now, hopefully these photos can tide you over for a few days. Hashtag Cobra Kai, hashtag Netflix. So, a few days? Okay, trailer's coming. That's what that confirms to me. Tide you over for a few days. What's he tiding us over till? Another, fireworks? No, come on. It's gonna be the trailer. That there confirms to me that we're gonna get the trailer. I know, you may be like, Jacob, calm down. That's not what he means. That's exactly what he means. I remember this happened for season 3. They released pictures before the actual trailer. And then they released the trailer containing a lot of those shots. So don't be surprised if you see the trailer pop up in a couple of days. I just hope, however, it doesn't pop up when I'm at work, or I'm busy, or I'm doing something like these, promo images and stuff did today. Because that is exactly what happened. Now, before I go any further, this channel is marching forward to 6k subscribers. I'm going to start doing some more videos on Marvel, Star Wars, DC. I really need to do some more Halloween videos. I know I said I was going to do a few, so I really, really want to do some more of those, and I really want to make sure that I do as many of those for you guys as I can, just to diversify the content a bit, and just to make sure that I'm giving you guys, the full pop culture experience here. I honestly can't thank you all enough for the amount of support and, just kind words that, everyone has had to say regarding videos and all that. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some, another Robby video, that even then they'll stick out with me. And we've got No Way Home, No Way Home. We are moving closer to No Way Home, so I've got a couple of videos lined up for that, so make sure you stay tuned. If that's your thing, you're in the right place. Now, the way I'm going to structure this video is I'm going to talk about each image, each image specifically, and what I think it could mean, and what I think it could entail. And then, from there, I will give you my conclusion at the end. And by the time this posts, I might have already live streamed, because I'm sort of doing them in flux. I'm doing this video, and I'm going to do the live stream straight after. So you might get this video after the live stream. But whatever way you get it, it's, it's the chosen one, baby. And when I say chosen one, I don't mean that. But anyway, to our first image, we have Daniel and Johnny. Now, all it contains is Daniel and Johnny. That's it. But it seems like here, Johnny is extending his hand out to Johnny. Johnny is extending his hand out to Daniel. And if I was a betting man, I would say this is probably early on in the season. This isn't going to be anything past mid-season at the latest. We know that Daniel and Johnny are going to have tension throughout the majority of season 4, especially during the opening, of the two philosophies, of Miyagi-Do and Cobra Kai. I mean, I know Johnny's called his dojo Eagle Fang, but let's be honest, it's Cobra Kai's methods. And Miyagi-Do merging for the first time. So it's going to be interesting to see how they balance that with everything that's going on. And this article is from people.com, and, this is what the little blurb says. When season 3 of Cobra Kai concluded, Daniel and Johnny were faced with a common enemy in John Kreese, but can they actually bury the hatchet once and for all? Rivalries don't need to last forever. Daniel says in the most recent trailer, prepare yourselves because season 4 is our biggest one yet. Writers and executive producers Josh Hell, John Hurwitz, and Hayden Schlossberg tell people with new alliances, new students, new conflicts, and the return of a legendary franchise character, it's anyone's game. Strap in for a wild ride on the way to the 51st annual VADER tournament. And, the image in isolation in and of itself, there isn't too much to go on, but with the title of Daniel and Johnny Make Peace, I don't know if that's the website that's deciding to do that, or if that's what they were told to put, but it does feel like this is probably going to be after they've bickered, and this is towards the back end of their training. I don't feel like this is going to be at the beginning. I feel like, for the first 1 or 2 episodes, these two are going to be at each other's throats, and this is like episode 3, where Johnny and Daniel are like, look, come on. Let's put this aside. And maybe this could be a scene where Johnny outright says to him, thank you for saving me. I think the nod that he gives Daniel in the Season 3 finale, he gives him 2 nods. He gives him one nod to say thanks for saving my ass, the same way Miyagi did before, parallel. And the second nod was finish him. Take his head off. Let's finish him. Get rid of him. Like that's what it was, you know. So if people were actually sure, if have been asking, was Daniel gonna kill? I mean, Daniel and Johnny wanted to end him there and then. That's what that second nod was. That was the go ahead. That was finish him off, take him out. So as much as I do feel like redemption could be on the cards for Kreese, there is that underlying story plot point where it might not even be possible, because now he's done that. He's crossed that line. You know, where do you draw the line? Robbie may have put Miguel in the coma, but Robbie's still a kid, and he can still redeem. Hawk may have broken Dimitri's arm, but he's still a kid, and he can redeem and whatever. You know, and they're different types of characters, but with Kreese, you know, he's at the end of his tenure. And I just don't see a world where he rides off into the sunset. You know, even if he does redeem, it's not going to be one where he lives happy ever after. I just don't see it. Moving on to the second image. The kids are as surprised as we are. That's what the title bit says. We've got Hawk there, and you know what's interesting about this one? I don't know if it's just me, but if you look just a little bit closely, it looks like Hawk's mohawk is just... I don't know if it's the lighting in the shot, but it just looks a little bit... I don't know. To me, it just looks a little bit off. But, I mean, that could just be the lighting in the shot. I think it's still red here. But, yeah, probably nothing. It's probably just the way I'm looking at it. I'm not giving people in the comments section verification. Oh, it's probably purple. No, I'm just saying the lighting in the shot is whatever. It's just a combination of all, like, the key characters that we've seen since Season 1. You know, all looking out, presumably, to Johnny and Daniel bickering, as per usual. And it just says, you know, they look nervous as they watch their senseis attempt to unite. So it's nothing more than what it is. It's probably just a still image taken out of context of a small scene where Johnny and Daniel are probably just bickering. And they're just looking from afar. And it's just, you know, the usual, pretty much. The next image, however, is something I am so... I think this scene, when it plays out, is going to be so hilarious. You know, just Johnny doing the crane kick stance against Daniel. I think that I could see him and Johnny demonstrating something, and then Johnny just feeling so petty, so bitter. You know what, LaRusso? I'm gonna show these kids what you did to me, but I'm gonna do it to you this time. I'm gonna show you. And you can see in the image, the same way in the trailer. This was in the trailer. All the kids in the background are laughing. So obviously, you know, we know Miguel's gonna be laughing. But what's interesting here is Sam's even snickering. She's laughing too. And I've often discussed, as of late, that I think Johnny and Sam will really bond. And I think Sam will sort of look at Johnny as like that badass uncle that, you know, really meshes with her style. Because as much as she has her father's blood, as much as she's, you know, a good soul at heart, the arcade fight for me was proof enough that she wouldn't mind striking first, let's put it that way. And I think this scene here is just going to be so comical for all the kids involved. I think they're just going to stand there having a right old laugh at this. But I do want to say, before I go any further, with these images, sometimes what often happens is this image is already in the trailer, but if you look at it in the trailer, it's different, but that's because it's filmed from a different angle. So the way you see it in the trailer, like this exact moment, is how it's going to look. This picture might not be how it looks. This is principal photography, you know, this is all that kind of stuff, you know, for marketing, and it says people exclusive photos. So this is probably done by someone who they've either paid or someone who's really, you know, begged and pleaded to come in for promotional material while they're filming the scene. And they probably said, okay, William, get in that same position again. Ralph, hold the thing up. Guys, laugh in the background like you were. Same thing. Smile. And then, yeah. So sometimes that happens. This happened with Season 3 as well. It's just funny. I hope that Johnny's just going to be petty as hell with it. Now, we move on to a juicy one. This one, to me, oozes Godfather vibes. And when I say Godfather vibes, I mean fucking Godfather. This is the equivalent of Johnny and Daniel, like Johnny and Daniel coming together and going, yeah, you know, we're going to kick their asses so hard, they shit themselves. Kreese and Silver, let's have a formal dinner. Let's have a formal dinner in the evening and discuss battle plans. I love it. It feels like the final boss is now brought into play. I know people might not like the idea of Silver being the final boss, but How can you not? Who else is the final boss? It's of the Karate Kid mythos. Who tops Terry Silver? No one. You could make a case for Kreese, but I'm just saying Terry Silver's worse. In the objective viewpoint, we know Terry Silver's worse because we can quantify this. We can back this up. We've seen it in Karate Kid 3. Silver will do whatever the hell he wants to do, whenever he pleases. You know, that's the level of villain that's in the show now. What Kreese was doing in Season 3 with the underhanded maneuvers, Silver will do that times 10. He'll have no qualms about stepping on whoever. He'll have no qualms about pissing off people. He'll have no qualms about who he hurts or who gets in his way. You know, he will not distinguish between the one he hunts and the one who gets in his way, and he will do whatever he has to do to achieve that end goal. And his end goal is coming back 30 years later to win. He's not coming back 30 years later to lose. Now, again, the simplest answer sometimes is the correct one. Miguel could be a 2-time champ. Maybe. If he's a 2-time champ, then cool. Why not? That's cool. But I just feel like Season 4 has to up the ante. It has to up the ante a bit. As I said, before you get to Return of the Jedi, you need Empire Strikes Back. Before you get to Endgame, you need Infinity War. Before you get to Matrix, someone comment down below the third and second one. I keep getting them mixed up. I saw the trailer today for the new one. Looks actually pretty sharp. Not bad indeed. Not bad indeed. You know, before you get to The Dark Knight Rises, you got to get to Dark Knight. Before you get to A World's End, you got to get Dead Man's Chest. You know, all these little things that this season will set up. And I know some people always say this, that this will be their favourite season. But I think upon reflection, this will be my favourite season of the bunch, because I feel like it will be the darkest. I feel like this one won't hold back. This one won't pull punches. Because think about it. The bad guys win in this season. This season, Silver, Kreese, Tory, Kyler, Robby. They win. They get the win. And maybe Sean and Kenny. They get the win. These guys get the win. Then, you lay the foundation afterwards for Season 5 to set things up for Season 6's endgame. You see? It's right there. It's perfectly there. And I just love how this is like a nice, you know, fancy dinner. You know, oh, hey, Johnny, how are you? It's the perfect way to bring Silver back. This is probably... If I was to place a bet on it, you know when Robby enters the dojo and he's joining Kreese, he just says, Sensei Kreese, and then Kreese just smiles and it just goes, dun 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 dun, dun 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 dun. And it cuts to the credits. The same way in Season 2, how like Kreese is leaving out the building and Johnny's like, wait! And then the same musical cue plays. That the same song is gonna play here, not here, but in the scene where Silver first appears, and it's gonna end with it's gonna go dun 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Like it's gonna transition into Terry Silver's theme, like that. Ow! Like, I can already call it now. I just feel like it's going to happen. But the breakdown that the page here has of this image, it says, John Kreese isn't alone leading Cobra Kai this time around. The Karate Kid Part 3 villain Terry Silver has rejoined the fray. Since the beginning of the series, we've been carefully orchestrating the right moment to unleash Cobra Kai Dojo co-founder Terry Silver back into the universe. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Held, Hurwitz, and Schlossberg said this earlier this year. The moment is now. We can wait for the whole world to experience Thomas Ian Griffith's majestic return to the franchise. And here's what I love about this. You know full well they planned this since the beginning. They absolutely planned this since the beginning. And one thing I really love about it is they said that time is now. So it's one of them kind of situations where I just feel like they brought Silver in at the right time. They could have brought him in Season 2. They could have brought him in Season 3. And I'm glad they didn't. Because Season 4 is the best time to bring him in. Think about it. You've got Kyler, for example. He fits Cobra Kai's type of fighter. The 80s type of fighters. Kyler fits the bill. You've got Tory. She fits those type of fighters. She fits the bill. Robby, the son of Johnny Lawrence, heir to the Cobra Kai throne from his father. You know, it's, you know, Anakin vibes, you know. All that detail there. Like, Kreese had a full season of him being a villain. If Kreese had got the dojo at the end of Season 2, and then you bring Silver in Season 3, you don't get to enjoy Kreese as much, because you're focused on Silver. We get to enjoy Kreese as a villain for a whole season. And now we get Kreese and Silver together. And what's fascinating to me about this, and Ken Cole did a fantastic video on it. I'm sure everyone I know has seen it. If you haven't, make sure you check it out. But he did a video on Terry Silver, that it could be a double-edged sword. Here's why. Before everyone jumps down my throat, here's why. It's one of them situations where in Karate Kid 3, Kreese was happy to take a back seat. He was happy to take a back seat, and he was happy to let Silver lead the line, which is why he went to Tahiti and whatever. He gave Silver instructions and whatnot, but it was more of like guidelines. Silver basically did whatever Silver wanted, and even when Kreese came back, Silver was still in the driving seat. In this point in the show, Kreese has been in the driving seat since Season 2, you know, or the end of Season 1, if you will. He's been in the driving seat since then, so working out the dynamic between these two juggernaut villain characters is going to be fascinating to me. Now, I do think for Season 4 at least, these two are going to get along like two peas in a pod. They're going to get along so well. And this is why I feel like they are going to win more so, because while Johnny and Daniel are bickering, and we're all in the moment, we're like, yeah, it's funny. Johnny and Daniel, yeah, they're arguing again. Yeah, it's funny. Kreese and Silver won't be. It's actually going to be Johnny and Daniel's downfall, is their bickering. Kreese and Silver are going to be on the same page. They are not doing this to lose again. I just don't see a world where Cobra Kai don't win this tournament. They've already confirmed Season 5, and Martin Kove already said that the Valley belongs to me and always will. Or, I need to quantify that. Comment down below, was it the Valley or was it Cobra Kai? It was one of the two. I'm sure it was the Valley. But with that being said, it just not only makes sense that they win, but it also adds to how they could win, and then what happens after that. Moving on to the next image. Now, this one, I mean, I've only mentioned him a couple of times this video, but I'm sure someone down below is going to say, oh, you know, you're doing it again. Well, he's a character that exists in the show. Deal with it. So, Tory and Robby. Okay, clearly sparring in the dojo, clearly a practice session. But the way this shot is designed, I don't think Silver has actually been introduced yet. I think this is probably in the earlier episodes, so this could potentially be before Silver's brought in. Maybe Silver's brought in at the end of this episode, because I want to see some more time. I want to see more interactions between Kreese and Tory, Kreese and Robby. I want to see more of that. It was one of my favorite things about Season 3, was the fact that the leader of Cobra Kai is talking to Johnny Lawrence's son, who's just who's a fallen Miyagi-Do. The idea of that is just fascinating. I love it. I love it. And I have said this from day one. Robby's arc is going to surprise people. If, like me, you can instill the nuance and you can see it coming from a mile away, then, you know, hey, howdy, hey. But I will not be shocked, right? These characters I know best, and I'm telling everyone, by the end of the show, Robby will have that arc where it might not be your favourite arc, but you'll say something along the lines of, you know what, they made it all come together. They really made it all come together. I think Robby had a really good arc overall. And then rewatch, you'll go, man, Robby had a really good arc. You see? I'm calling it a mile off. I'm standing by that prediction. Standing by it. It doesn't mean Hawk isn't cool. It doesn't mean Miguel isn't cool. It doesn't mean Sam isn't cool. I'm speaking about it from just the character standpoint and what he serves with the story. Now, that brings me on to another Robby video. Just want to throw it in there. Now, Tory, on the other hand. All jokes aside about, oh, you think I'm crazy. Take that out of it for a minute. I think this season, as cool as, like, other characters are, I want to see more from Tory. Now, I know Peyton List has been bumped up to a regular, which means we'll get that. But what Season 3 was for Hawk and Sam needs to be for Tory. She absolutely, unequivocally needs this season to benefit her. And what better season to benefit her character than the season that Cobra Kai win under Kreese and Silver? You know, she's with Robby, she's with Kyla, potentially Sean, Kenny. This is the season to give Tory that story that we really need to invest in. And I firmly believe this, that something is going to happen to her mum before the All Valley. Maybe not during, because I think that would be just a bit too convenient. But maybe beforehand. Something beforehand. and then she goes berserk on Sam or something and gets disqualified. Or maybe she beats Sam and gets... But I mean, I'm not even going to put that out there. I don't... To be honest, I just don't. Sam is the GOAT. RJ, comment that down below. But yeah, this is a scene of them sparring, and I know people don't want them to become a couple, and some people do. But, you know, at the end of the day, whether they start getting, you know, smoochy or not, I think what's important here is they are a yin and yang to each other. There's a balance there. They understand each other. As much as Miguel can relate on a level, Robby relates to her on a deeper level. A really deeper level. He gets it. He'll understand her, and she understands him. It's not that Miguel never did. It's just I feel like Miguel has more... He's more in control of himself than these two are. These two need proper guidance. Miguel is such a well-rounded kid that has come so far, arguably because of the guidance from Johnny, but Miguel was always naturally just a good kid. Robby's always had a lot of hate. He's always had a lot of anger. He's always had a lot of resentment towards his dad and bitterness and hatred, right? This was before Miguel even came into the picture. Tory is a troubled teenager that has no guidance, that's basically being an adult before she's even finished being a teenager, and she's lived her whole life in a fight. It's all she knows. So, with that being said, there is no better time than now to give that context to people like Tory, especially Tory, because I mean, Robby's, you know, he's always going to get some kind of arc each season anyway. It's Johnny's son. You may not like him, but he's Johnny's son. You don't write the show. I don't write the show. Just watch, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Chill. Now, moving on to the next image. This is one that this is my favorite image. Ooh, I think this might, it's tough. There's a lot of good images in here, but this is one of my favorites because it finally recognizes Anthony. About time. It finally recognizes Anthony. And the caption reads, "Will Daniel's son finally step away from the video games and join the fight?" I don't think he'll join the fight yet, but I think Season 4 will work on planting the seeds to have him join the fight Season 5 onwards. I think Anthony's approaching that time now where he's, you know, as much as Sam is the GOAT, I think Anthony is really going to step up. And it's the same guy, you know, it just looks different. But he's going to come into his own, and no doubt there's probably going to be some, you know, rivalry between him and Kenny, something to do with Devon. But I do feel like the time is now for Anthony to kind of step into the fray and put his gi on. You know, that's what I personally feel like. The time is coming. And this is a show where they plant seeds anyway. So when they plant seeds like this, you really have to take notice because they pay them off later. You know, I've always said it. But I really think we could get a very good story here with Anthony along the lines of, hey, you've always paid attention to Sam. Sam. You never paid attention to me. There could be opportunity there to explore that story of how it affects him and how he's kind of taken it. And that's just an example, that you don't have to do it that way verbatim. It's just something I'm throwing out there as a potential plot point they could do, because that is a staple in storytelling, is the favored sibling over the other sibling. Hell, look at the recent Fast and Furious 9. Look at that. It did the same thing. But that's a staple in storytelling, always has been. But I am hopeful that Anthony will step up to the mark and join his sister in the fight. You know, it's time. The time is now. Time is now. Or time to set it up now. Now, this one here is interesting. With Cobra Kai winning this season, potentially, we need to make the audience extremely conflicted. And I don't mean conflicted as in, oh, I want Robby to win, or I want Miguel to win. No. I want conflicted feelings on who to win and why. I think Kenny is going to be that character that's introduced that he's going to be one of two things. He's going to be the annoying little shit that winds everyone up and gets what's coming to him. Or he's going to be another version of Miguel, basically. And Robby is now going to gain that perspective for someone like Miguel by taking a miniature Miguel in and, you know, taking him under his wing. You know, I don't think Kenny's going to have a major part of the season, but I think Kenny is going to be a chess piece that is used to amplify Hawk versus Robby. As much as Robby and Miguel was cool, and they'll address that probably in the semis. I just feel like Hawk versus Robby is so much more interesting to me at this point, because it's a bit fresh, it's a bit new, there's a bit of a different stake within it. And I just feel like Kenny is on that kind of arc where he links to Robby's arc. Robby's arc links to him. And then Kenny is probably where the future torch could be passed along. And I just feel like this image here is very, very strong. But I wouldn't be surprised if the scene that this is from is filmed with Kenny coming along the hallway, and it's a diagonal shot. And this shot here is purely for promotion. But I like the feeling of isolation in this shot. I don't know if this was intentional. I don't know if this was done on purpose or not. But I like the feeling of isolation. I like the fact that Kenny is like, you know, even though he takes up a big chunk of this middle bit of the picture, like your focus is on him because he's in the middle bit. When you look at the outside around him, you know, you've got everyone pointing to him and everyone's sort of closing in on him. So even though he takes up a big chunk of the middle part, it's mostly because he's isolated, he's alone. And this is where Robby will probably really relate to him. Really relate to him. Do I think he's Sean's brother? I mean, that could be, but I mean, I don't think, you know, I would prefer if Kenny was a new character. I like the fact that Kenny could be this new kid that comes to town, or maybe a new kid who's just started the school. And Robby looks out for him and takes him under his wing. Like, that's what's going to happen. I mean, the one leak I did cover that you guys know of was the one that everyone knows. Because, you know, it's the only leak I've ever covered and I'm not covering anymore, and I'm standing by that. Is when Robby visits Kenny's house and he gives him the backpack. You know, now we know it's Kenny. So he probably looks out for Kenny more than once. And that could spark the feud of Robby and Hawk and them going to town on each other. But this is probably one of my favourite shots. I just love it. I love the isolation of it. I love the atmosphere. I love the dullness. I love how the focus is on Kenny. But then when you look deeper, you know, you see all the people around him laughing at him, poking fun at him, pointing their fingers at him. You know, maybe he's getting harassed by everybody. And then Robby sees this. But the thing is, Robby's expelled from school. So maybe Kyla puts in a word to Robby. Or maybe Kenny sees other Cobra Kai students and maybe thinks, you know, what if I join them? What if I check them out? And maybe he's in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that leads to him and Hawk, you know, Hawk basically grabbing him and dragging him up against the wall. That's how that could transpire. That's how that could go down. I think Kenny could be a really sympathetic character. I think Kenny is definitely a character that we could really get behind and really not necessarily root for, but understand. And I think it will serve Robby's arc as well. And it will serve Hawk's arc too. It's like one of them characters which will serve multiple arcs. So that really excites me. That really, really, really excites me. Now, as far as the images that were released, that's it. But there is one more that wasn't part of it. And if I've missed any more, comment down below and let me know. But Miguel is suited and booted for prom. You've got Yaya, you've got Carmen, and you've got Miggy. And you've got what appears to be, looks like the LaRusso household. So, yes, there is a prom, 100%. And, you know, I hope that if the prom is executed, there's no cheesy, you know what I mean? Like, just, you know, come on. Don't make this, like, Outer Banks. You know what I mean? Keep it Cobra Kai. You know what I mean? Just be careful. You know, be careful. But I think the prom could be an interesting thing. But I do feel like there is an opportunity there to make it very cheesy. And not cheesy in, like, the good way. I mean cheesy as in, you know, like, what was that? Oh, God. That kind of stuff. And I gotta say, they all three of them look good. They look good. But that's pretty much all I have to say on the pictures. You know, there's only so much you can go off of in a single image. As I said, by the time this video uploads, I'll have probably done a stream. So make sure you guys check that out. Make sure you go and, you know, watch it if you haven't. I'm going to probably be streaming it with the other guys. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to go through it. And, yeah, you know, strike first, strike hard, show no mercy. And to end this video, I'm just going to simply say, comment down below your favorite image. Why it's your favorite, what you think it entails, what you think it means, and do you agree with any of the points I've raised? If not, let me know. If you think I'm an idiot, then let me know, because some of you, because that's down there all the time. And if you guys like the video, let me know. But yeah, you know, shout out to everyone who's been on this journey thus far. 6K is coming close. I'm almost there. So yeah, we're in a good season, ladies and gentlemen. I just watched Eternals today or yesterday by the time this uploads. Solid movie. Not bad at all. Visuals really cool. Icarus is like, he's basically Superman in the movie. The other Eternals are really good. There's a lot of seeds planted for the future. You know, there's a lot of seeds, but I won't say it in case, you know, you guys haven't seen it. But yeah, check it out if you haven't. Especially if you're a Marvel fan. Watch it ASAP. There's a lot in there for you. But yeah, you know, comment down below, let me know, and since it's a Cobra Kai Season 4 video, I suppose I could do with rivalries don't have to last forever.